Hey, good evening, guys. It's KB5 MIQ Big Boy. This is take 2 of the video tonight. I'm still experimenting with that camera, and I wasn't really satisfied with it tonight, so I'm going to try with my phone. Old ham radio cat climbed up here in my lap. Guys, we're going to talk about a subject I've talked about before. I keep seeing these posts on social media about this kind of stuff. One guy asked today, how much would it cost, low-cost HF station to set up? Well, you can imagine the answers he got. He's got every kind of answer under the sun about everything. You know, I've set this channel up, people on a budget, and people are trying to get them into the hobby and beginners, so that's why I kind of keep stuff centered on. And, you know, getting on HF is going to be a little bit expensive, depending on how in-depth you want to get into it. One of my favorite things was when you ask questions on social media, you got to be prepared for the answers you get, because I've seen one a while back. I've got $1,500 to set up an HF station. What can I do? Then first guy goes, well, that'll just cover your grounding and lightning protection, so you ain't got enough to get a radio going. Guys, I'm not going to knock any advice anybody gives you, okay? Let's just talk simple minimum that you need to get on the air on HF, all right? The basics: a radio, power supply, coax, antenna. That's it. That's really all you have to have. Lightning protection is great. Extensive grounding is great. Not going to get into, not even going to talk about grounding. That's a whole nother can of worms you'll open up. But all of that's great. But to get on the air, that's all you got to have minimum to get on the air. All right? Besides a license. Before somebody hits me for not saying you got to have a license. Now think about this before people start crucifying me saying I'm telling you not to ground. I'm not telling you that. I'm certainly not telling you not to do anything for safety or lightning protection. We're just talking about the minimum requirements to get you talking. You take these POTA guys. They take a rig out, put it on the table, throw an antenna up there, and they make contacts. They're running on a battery. They're running on an HF rig, piece of coax, simple wire antenna, or something vertical they've stuck on the ground. Cody runs the Wolf River coils, set on a tripod. Anything. I ain't seen one of them drive a ground rod to the ground yet. Temporary operation, I know. So, but still, to get you on the air, this is all you actually have to have. Okay, I'm probably going to get crucified for saying it like that. But a rig, HF rig, MTC, check with Richard on his used gear. If you can afford to spend $700 on the radio itself, buy a brand new 891 Yaesu from Richard. He's got them under $700 on his website right now. Piece of coax. If you're a tech and you just want to get on 10 meters, build you a wire dipole. Super easy to build. You should have learned the dipole measurements formula in studying. If not, it's real easy to look it up. And they got dipole measurement things on the internet. You just push the frequency and it'll tell you how long you got to build it. All right? You can build it out of scrap you've got in your house. You look back at some of my older videos, I built the dipole out of scrap. Just had to have the wire. All you got to have for a dipole, remember this, is just something at the center where they meet. You got to keep each leg separate. You take the center conductor off the coax, put it on one leg and the braid on the other, and black tape it up and figure out a way to hang it in a tree and put an insulator on the ends and tie it off. If it's measured right, you should be good to go. Jeff got me into this hobby back in '91. We didn't have antenna analyzers. We didn't have VNAs. We built the dipole. We used the formula, cut it, turned the wattage down on the radio, done an SWR check with the radio, trimmed it if needed, and went to talking. You got a resident antenna, you don't have to have a tuner for it. All right. I'll tell you what I bought when I got back in the hobby years ago. I already had a power supply. I bought a Yaesu 897. I bought an LDG 897 tuner. I bought a G5RV antenna. I bought a Diamond dual band quarter wave vertical VHF UHF antenna and a Diamond 2-element Yagi. I already had a pole and I already had coax because I'd already been in the hobby a while. Those items right there cost me about $1,100 back in 06, 07 when I got this. All right. So that's what an all-new station cost me that long ago. And if you go with an 891, you can still get probably real close to that to getting on the air. But the main thing is just get on the air. Like I said, if you go to a ham fest, a tailgate sale, you're unfamiliar with how to test equipment, take somebody with you that knows. Or a lot of these guys will have a test bench set up with a power supply and a dummy load where you can get the antenna rig tested out. And if a guy don't want you to test out his rig, he's trying to sell it to you, then you probably don't need to buy that one. Again, always check with MTC on his used gear. It'll tell you in the description whether it's got a 30-day in-store warranty or a tech special, no warranty on it. Richard checks the stuff out, and I highly recommend go that route for used gear. I see a lot of people talking about this Xiegu G90 radio. I've never touched one, not knocking it. From what I've seen, it's a pretty good radio. Fairly expensive radio, but it's a low wattage radio. I could go back to the 891. It's small. Cody used it for field use. Jeff uses one for field use. KV5SIX Vern, he uses one for POTA. They're easy to carry with you out to use on field use for POTA, and plus they're a good 100-watt HF radio. Something to consider. Main thing is just try to get on the air. You're going to enjoy this hobby a lot more getting on the air and getting experience with it. Techs, get on 10 meters, look for us. We're always in the tech portion of the band, usually around 28,450, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursday, Friday nights. Again, I've said this before, that's why we get on there. We're all local. We can talk to each other on a 2-meter simplex frequency or a 40-meter frequency, but we meet there because we like to have people check in with us when the band's open, especially new guys. If you ask a question on social media, what to buy, you're going to get the Ford versus Chevy question every time. Do your research. Nobody knows your budget better than you. What I'm talking about is the minimum stuff you need to get a rig on the air. Add to it. Add better grounding. Add lightning protection down the road if you want it. Add a tower. Add multiple antennas. All that's great. That's a part of the hobby, and you'll be learning as long as you're in it. But if you're new to this and you're trying to get on the air on HF, keep it simple. Think about what you want to operate on within your license limits and go from there. All right, that's about all I can say on this. I sound like a broken record sometimes. Right now, Cowtown Ham Fest next Saturday. I'm planning on being there if nothing changes. That's still my plans. I'll probably be there mid-morning. Y'all remember Main Trading Company in Paris? Richard's got a lot of stuff hitting the website now. He's got a bunch of used gear coming in. Again, it's a good place for all your ham radio gear. Guys, we hit 1,300 subscribers. We're going to give something else away. Thanks for everybody who subscribed to the channel. This is KB5 MIQ Big Boy 73.